Hey, welcome back. Video marketing, DMI 1511. You're doing well. 11, if you're on the 11th class of 15th, you're doing very, very well. This is going to get more interesting, like I told you about 2 weeks ago already. So, video marketing is one of the highlights of what I do online. It's the highlight of many, many, many other people that you know online as well. So I want to congratulate you for coming this far. Okay. So we're talking about video marketing today. Do you really need me to define what video is for you? I don't think so, right? But nonetheless, we should still. What I can do is I can give you examples of what video marketing is like. Okay, and I'm going to do that today. Not only that, we're also going to talk about um, why, right? Why, right? Then I'm also going to show you some of the activities I'm up to. Presently I run about 3 different platforms with videos on them. They're not the biggest in the world, so you'll be able to relate better at the levels where they are right now, but I've done significant enough for you to be able to see what it looks like to be consistent and to be generating results from video marketing. Okay, so what is video marketing and why should you even worry about this, right? I'm going to show you maybe about, let's see, 3 different forms. Okay, should I say 3 or 4, right? No, maybe 1. Okay, the most popular video platform in the world is what is it? The most popular one is YouTube. At this point in time that you're watching this training, right? You go to youtube.com, you see videos everywhere. Video marketing. Okay, video marketing is essentially using video as a form of media, also as a form of as a way to promote products, services, and offer. Okay, you're using video as a form of media to promote product, services, and offers, right? So the number 1 platform in the world, which also happens to be the second biggest search engine in the world, is YouTube. So when people come here, right, they land on youtube.com, what do they see? They see a homepage that showcases, different content to us based off of multiple different things, a few different things. Let me show you, right? All right. Why would you see videos on that platform, right? You will see videos on that platform probably because relevance, relevance, right, and popularity, right? If the video is already popular, YouTube wants it to keep performing, basically. Okay, and you will notice that it's the same behavior across board on any one of the video platforms, right? So what do I mean by video platforms? So now I just showed you YouTube, right? But in recent times, you also know platforms like Facebook, right? There's also a video part of Facebook. What about Instagram, right? And what about TikTok, right? Right. So these are all video platforms, right? And it's important that we talk about this because sometimes you're just using things and you don't realize how much of a big deal it is with respect to, all right, with respect to business, right? TikTok, up to just last year, a lot of people did not see TikTok as a viable business platform. But today, people are running ads on TikTok and things like that. What else do we have? We have Snapchat, right? So, you can do any of these 3 types of videos on there. What is long video? A long video is probably anything more than 5 minutes at this point. That definition used to be different, but as you know, things are evolving, right? More than at this point, it's more than anything more than, as a matter of fact, let me take that back. Anything more than 1 minute is considered a long form. Okay, at this point in time, why? Right? Why? Why? That doesn't make any sense if you know where we're coming from, right? Right? That almost doesn't make any sense. Anything more than why, right? The short span increasingly short span of human beings. Human beings don't have the time like that, right? They don't have the time like that. Short, anything less than 3 minutes. Sorry, anything less than 1 minute, right? That's my definition now, right? And I'm going off of what I've seen off of all those different platforms and what is basically what's happening in action right now, right? And what do we know as live? When you just sit down there and you're just talking, right? Real life, real time. Okay, real life, real time. All right, so that means you have to be there present. You can also simulate videos. There are ways to simulate videos to make that happen, right? So that's video marketing essentially. Okay, so you can see this example right here. When you come here, you see some videos that YouTube thinks I will like, right? This one, Brian Tyler Cohen, I think they're monitoring my IP address here because I've watched videos from them because I'm not actually logging. So in addition to, so basically it's your behavior. So it's not just relevance, okay? Not just relevance. Let's just say your behavior is probably the primary thing. So basically all the content you've consumed that you've engaged with in the past, then anything that's kind of relevant to that, or anything that is relevant to your recent search history, okay? Now write that down as I'm saying them, right? Also things that are just generally across the platform, things that are popular, okay? Things that are popular across the board. All right. All right, so here we go. So you can see there's a section at the top. They're basically showing me what they think most likely I would want to watch. But I came here for a different reason, right? Then you see shorts, right? What did I say earlier? There's also short forms. So YouTube calls it short forms. So basically, short forms came to YouTube after YouTube noticed that TikTok was basically blowing up everywhere. The videos were going viral because they're short, little sweet 60 minutes or 30 seconds. Sorry, 60 seconds. Wait, let me make sure I didn't make a mistake of saying minutes so far. All right, so 1 minute, yeah. So 60 seconds, right? Same thing, right? So anything, so YouTube call them shorts, right? On Instagram, what do they call them? Let's look at this, right? YouTube, they call them shorts. And we know Instagram calls them what? Instagram and Facebook. Actually, Facebook now. I literally just posted a Facebook reel, right? They call them reels, right? And what else? TikTok call them. What do they call them? I guess TikTok. TikTok calls them what? We have shorts, we have reels. What do they call them? I don't remember. But anyway, they have different names for them on these different platforms. It's essentially the same thing. Okay. Okay. And anything more than 1 minute, like I said, is, you might as well just make it 5 minutes or more, right? And then long, used to maybe even up to 6 months ago, what we call long form is anything more than 20 minutes. Okay. So I'm just going to put that real quick here. Up to now, I think YouTube still calls anything more than 20 minutes long form. Okay. So which one of these videos should you be doing? Which one should you be creating for your business? Honestly, it depends on quite a few things. Okay. It depends on your time, how much resources you have to make this happen. And, it just depends. It depends also on what's already performing for you. Okay. Okay. So which one should you create? It depends on, like I said, priority is what's performing for you. What's performing for you. So if you don't have anything already, then don't worry about this. That's why here, right? So what's performing for you? What type do you have resources? So resources will be time, money, sometimes personnel that can help you make it happen, right? What type do you have resources for? Okay. I think there's a third one I just said. I'm going by what worked for me because again, this has been 12 years. Okay. what's performing for me, what type do you have resources for, right? And then let's see. Yeah. So when we say resources, we're talking about time, money, energy, right? Energy, but also what you know you can do over and over and be consistent with different types, right? So what's performing for you is probably key here. Okay, that's really going to be key as you go over time. But in the beginning, what do you have resources for? What do you think you can do sustainably, right? It's going to be basically what you should pay attention to. Okay, I thought I should say that really quickly. All right. Okay. So we talked about behavior. What creates impression, right? What creates impression? You know what? By now, you should know what impression means, right? It means anytime it's seen visibly by human eyes, right? What's creating impression? That means what's making it show at all to even create an opportunity for someone to click into it and view the video, right? What's creating it, right? That's your past behavior as a user. Okay, so user behavior, very important that we say that. Relevance, okay, relevance to search, okay, so search terms, right? And then popularity, okay. So I'm actually popularity across the platform. So I'm going to say this, right? Let's understand this, right? Last time I checked, about 70% of the traffic are basically happening here, okay? Okay, because under popularity, sorry, user behavior, under user behavior, you have what they call the homepage, okay? The homepage is what I just showed you. When I logged into youtube.com, what was the first thing that I saw, right? What was the first thing that I saw? When I logged in here, what was the first thing I saw? That's the home page. This page and what we call suggested videos. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is Mr. Beast. He's one of the biggest YouTuber. He released this video 1 month ago and he has 13 million views. It's probably the biggest on this. Okay, this one actually has 63 million views. Okay, all right, pardon me 1 second. All right, great. So welcome back. So like I was saying, this video, right? This page is called the home page. Majority of a lot of the traffic comes from here. I'm going to show you an example of that in my own studio in a few minutes. Okay, so if I pick, okay, we have 63 million going to this guy right here, views in 2 months, about 13 million going to this guy. These are huge videos. Eventually, once you start using your account, you're not going to see these guys. Basically, what you'll be seeing will be based on user behavior, which is your behavior time. What kind of videos do you watch? And relevance to maybe your search history. That's what you're gonna keep seeing. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this guy, Mr. Beast, right? And as you can see, there's other additional layers of video marketing going on. You can see just like in a regular TV, you see there's an ad running before it plays me the video that I want to see, right? So there's this ad playing right here. It looks like this is about politics, right? Again, they're just showing it to me randomly, but the ads you'll be served is also going to be based on user behavior, right? So that's how YouTube makes money. Okay, they make money by selling ads. I'm going to click skip, and then this is Mr. Beast. On the right hand side of each video, this also constitutes one of the biggest source of traffic to any video. It's called the suggested videos. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that down. Okay, this is how you get views to your videos. The home page, suggested videos, right? And okay, suggested videos. All right, 70% of all the traffic on YouTube will come from this. Now you will see how this translates to the other platforms as well. The other platforms, at the end of the day, the algorithms, we'll call them, that's the robots that basically measures and try to track down where they can get the most action on these platforms. They are, for the most part, tracking user behavior. Basically, they're tracking your behavior. The more they serve you what you're most likely going to watch, the more likely you will stay on to keep watching videos. That's all they really care about. And of course, they have the section called the search, right? Where people can literally search for what type of video they're looking for, right? So if I go, let's see, let's go to this guy right here, okay? And if I go here and I say how to set up an iPhone 14, right? If I click on that, what happens? It provides me what we call a search engine page results, sorry, a search engine results page, even right within YouTube, just like Google, just like on search engine optimization. It provides me results based off of what it thinks is much more relevant, okay? And not just what's relevant, but also what video has had the most engagement in that same topic. So you can see I typed in how to set up iPhone 14, but the first video that's ranking at the very top is an ad. Okay, so they're selling ad spaces right at the top. And who bought this ad? Apple, right? So Apple knows that if somebody is searching for how to set up iPhone 14, it's likely that they are interested in buying right now. But it's also likely that they already bought, right? That they already bought an iPhone 14, right? So hey, they're always testing. We're going to talk about that in a second as well. So this is the highest ranking video here. Can you get a lot of views from here? Yes. Okay, you can get a lot of views. But again, across YouTube in general, the major source of traffic is suggested videos, which is the right side of a video that somebody is already watching, or at the bottom if you're on a mobile phone, and the homepage if somebody just logged in and they're showing them videos based off of what they think, off of their past behavior, they're more likely to watch. So YouTube doesn't want people to come into YouTube and then they're clicking back to go back to wherever they're coming from, or they're saying they can't find the answers they're looking for. Okay, that's key in all of this. All right, so that's that right there. This is search. Okay, these are the places. This is a placement. Okay, but it's not something you control directly. You control it indirectly. So if you created a video about how to set up iPhone 14, you want to make sure that the title has the phrase that the user would type in. And you could, when I clicked here into this box, this search field, you notice that there are many other suggestions that you can literally create more content around. So let's say you sell some kind of service that has to do with how to set up iPhones. Then you can create titles. You can create content, quality content around this title. So for example, how to set up iPhone Pro 14 Pro SIM card. This is particularly about SIM card. These are the most popular searches, right? So what does it say? Report search predictions. That's it right there. So you can literally even report them, I guess as hateful or whatever, but that's a quick hack. You can literally highlight this and copy and go paste it somewhere. So let's say this is the kind of business you do, right? You will go copy and you create content around every single one of this by demonstrating how to set up. So you don't want this to just be pure information. You actually want to be demonstrating. It depends on what industry you're in, right? So let's say how to fix my broken marriage, right? My broken marriage, right? And I click on that, right? What videos comes up? We'll see these videos comes up, right? All those videos are ranking at the top. So that means these people have done a good job in optimizing their video for video search engine. Okay, we call it video search engine optimization. Okay, so that's our first how-to. Okay, under how-to, I'm going to come back here later on. Okay, so you could say video search engine optimization. Okay, so that's it's the least, not the least, but it's definitely not the best way to get traffic on YouTube, but it could be for you. Maybe you get very good at video search engine optimization. What does that mean? That the title has to be optimized for the keyword phrase you're targeting, also the description, right, and the tags. Okay, and I'm still going to go in and show you what this looks like in real life. Okay, so that's that right there. Okay, and in terms of how to find yourself on on the home page, and how to get yourself on the home page and suggested videos, right? Like this part right here. How do you get on home page and suggested videos? You have to create good content, okay? Good engaging content. Home page and suggested placement, okay? It's based on how your video performs from a standpoint of engagement, okay? How do you do that? You have to create good thumbnails that will get the clicks, okay? So high click-through rates. By now you should know what these are because we covered some of this already in the when we were talking about performance, right? Performance metrics. You want to go back and review that, feel free, okay? So you want to create a very highly catching thumbnail. I'm going to show you an example of what we do with that, right? And not just that, you want to engaging content, okay? Video, engaging video, right? Highly engaging video, okay? So what does highly engaging video means, right? You want to get as close as possible to 50% average percentage viewed, APV, okay? That's what they call it in YouTube, okay? It just means people watch, on an average, people watch 50% at least of the video, okay? If you create that and you create a high CTR depends on your particular niche. It depends on what niche your business is in, but also, you know, I wouldn't measure myself against everybody else too much. Just measure yourself against yourself on an ongoing basis. Does that make sense? You want to keep measuring yourself against you because the only person you're competing with is yourself, because one of the keys in all of this is going to be consistency. Okay, so let's just put that right there as a whole main consistency. Okay, all right, so what do I mean by consistency? Well, let's start like this. My personal channel, which I'll show you in a second, is not the best, but we're still working it and we get lots of money. We actually make a lot of money from continuing to put video on there, right? Because all it takes is one client, okay? And if you get more views too, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm sharing with you what the different multiple variables that makes a successful video marketing campaign is, okay? All right, so in addition to that, you know, you can also generate traffic from paid. You can actually, you know, set up a paid campaign, okay? You can pay money for people to come and be viewing your videos, okay? So, and I do that on one of my channels as well. Strategically, it depends, because I have 3 that I'm running right now, and I'm going to show you around that and show you what that looks like. So let's quickly wrap up what is video. By now, you already know what videos are and what video marketing is. It's basically an opportunity to use video as a form of media to capture customers, okay, for your product, services, and offers. All right, let me see. I think I demonstrated. I was going to show you a lot of the other platforms are only available on mobile apps, okay? So I will not be wasting too much time on them. For example, Facebook, TikTok, you know, Instagram, you know. Well, the main platform, if you really want to engage video marketing as a major source of business for you, the main platform that you're going to pay attention to is YouTube. And I'm going to pay attention to just that. And on YouTube, you can do short forms, you can do long forms, which today means, as of right now, means anything more than 1 minute. But some people may define it as anything more than 20 minutes. It just depends on who is teaching you. But I'm looking at the trend and where things are going. Human beings continue to have short and shorter span. I think that's going to kind of correct soon, because people are finding out that, you know, taking things out of context is not helpful. It's actually not productive. So people may very soon start to look for context before they make a judgment or decide if something is good for them or not. Okay. So that's what's creating impression, and then we talked about what it depends on, what's performing for you, right? If you want to, here I'm talking about what type should you create? What type of videos should you create? And that depends on what's performing for you if you already have stuff going on, and then also what type do you have resources to create. Okay, so because it is time consuming if you're doing it by yourself, and it's going to cost you money if you're going to have people do it for you, but it won't cost you as much if you're passionate. It won't cost you anything if you're passionate about what you're creating videos around. Okay, just so you know, it won't really cost you anything because you will actually enjoy doing it. Okay, so that's what video marketing is. Now let's get into this. Why should you do video marketing? Why should you engage video marketing? There are three reasons, and I cover it extensively in the book. The book is live everywhere. Make sure you grab your version of the book. If you go to myempirepro.com/digital marketing certified DMC ebook, which is the Kindle, we could go to that page. Okay, and you can also just search for it on Amazon. Okay, it's available in Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. Okay, this book is basically everything, so make sure you read it a few times. Okay, possibly 10 to 15 times, but a few times. Okay, because every time you read it, you'll pick up something new in it. Okay, all right. So the first reason is that it gets your audience to know you. They start to feel like they know you. All right, I can't say this enough. Okay, because basically the idea is that when people buy from you, you can get them to buy easier from you when their mind is prefamed that you're the right person to do business with them. Okay, if they don't feel like they know you, like you, or trust you, okay, I just gave you the answer for the other ones. Know you, like you, and trust you. Okay, I call it the equity factor. Okay, or trust equity, if you will. Right? It's not that they know you; it's that they feel like it. Okay, and videos kind of make that easier. Okay, like if you send text to people, it's not as powerful in terms of connection. Okay, it's not as powerful as when they're watching all the expression on your face, the emotional expression, your mouth move, your nose move, the way you swing your face to the left or right, the way you make your hand gestures. If they can see that, right, it makes life a lot more easier for them, right? Because indirectly they start to feel like you're already solving their problem. Okay, because in this world where trust is really a scarce thing, people would like to see your face, see your gestures, and then and decide if they want to do business with you off of that. It just makes it easier. Now, is it guaranteed? There's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee in life, right? I'm just saying it makes things easier. Now, do you have to show your face to do videos or to benefit from video marketing? No, you don't have to. But what I'm saying is that in order for you to call a video, at least there's some kind of slides on the screen and they're hearing a human voice. They can hear emotions, right? Even though this time and age we have robots and simulations and all kind of virtual artificial intelligence stuff creating people's voices. But if you notice, you can still tell. And also, even if you can't tell, the bottom line is that it's come to a place where it can deliver from an emotional standpoint. People need to feel some sense of emotional connection to you to do business with you. People buy and do business. They make that they make business decisions, quote unquote, buying decisions 85% of the time based off of their emotions, and then they justify with logic later. Does that make sense? So we have types of media of types of media, right? You have what? You have a text written, right? That's not a form of passing information to other people, right? You have what? You have audio, right? And then you have video, right? Text is written down, they can read it. But then you have to be very good with copywriting to really invoke and provoke and basically engage their emotions, right? Because that's going to begin. You already know that's going to be necessary for you to get them to make the next move, which is hopefully buying from you, right? So the next one, the next best one is audio. So audio is good, and people engage by audio as well. Sometimes audio is the best for certain types of people. If people that like to multitask, you can use audio to capture them easily because they could be hearing it in their AirPods and they can be engaged and they be connecting with your brand over time like that. And when they connect with your brand, they continue to feel like they know you, like you, and trust you, even if they don't. Okay? That's the idea. But with video, now you can combine all of the above. And with what we do here, actually, we've managed to find ways to combine all of them. Text written, audio, and video and visuals, and even additional illustrative videos. We call them B-rolls, right? So when you mix them up with B-rolls, it makes your message travel that much further, right? So that's basically why you want to engage video marketing, because I know sometimes it's difficult. Everyone is telling you to do everything, and you don't know you don't know which one should you face, why should you. And I always like to spell out the why before we continue. Okay, now let's talk about how do you do video marketing. Today I'm going to give you some examples. I'm going to show you some examples. Okay, but there's about 4 acronyms that I want you to pay attention to. Back in the days, it used to be always be closing, but today is always be creating. Okay, why? Because competition. Competition. People have choices. People can still do business with you, but they kind of like don't want you to engage too much of their time. They want things easier, faster, simpler. They don't want you to engage the most valuable asset, time, if they're not already sure that they want to do business with you, right? So how do you mitigate with this time with this time in mind, right? With this times and era in mind, is always be creating. Okay? Always be creating. What are you creating? Like I said earlier, you could be creating text, okay? Books. I write books, So now you understand why I write books, okay? They travel and serve more people further than I could possibly do as one individual. Okay, now books are sitting on people's desk in their homes and stuff like that, and they can decide to connect with me and come back and do business with me, right? Always be creating audio podcasts, right? You could do podcasts. One of my biggest students ever, he was making up to $230,000 per month doing how? Why? Because I did the podcast and he was listening on his way to an event, and that became his life story till today. Became a testimonial for me. Became his life story till today, right? He was listening to my voice, and I said one thing or the other, and then he started taking action, and before you knew it, he was creating results. So the information you create travel farther than you. Audio, podcast, right? And obviously we have video, right? So and we're talking about video today. So always be creating. So now we're talking about consistency all over again. Always be creating because it travels farther than you. Okay. So that's one right there. Then also, as you continue to create, what are you doing with that? You have to always be analyzing. Always be analyzing. And that's why we have what we call the YouTube Studio, because the YouTube Studio allows us to be able to see the numbers and to see what's going on in the numbers. Speaking of numbers, I'm going to show you right now. This is one of my channels. It's called Men of Prestige, and we started it like a year ago. We have 1,374 subscribers. Okay, there's only a certain amount of what do you call it? There's only a certain amount of people that will make it to this level, 1,374, right? As small as it might look to certain people, there's only it takes a lot of work to get to this space, right? All I want to show you how to do is how to get your first 10 subscribers, your first 100 subscribers. That's all I want to show you. If you can get 100 subscribers, then you can definitely do 100,000. It's just a matter of time, and it depends on what kind of content you're creating. It depends on your persona. It depends on a few other things, okay? But the key things that I know here for a fact is that if you can get 100 subscribers, then you can do 100,000 subscribers. No excuses, okay? So this is one channel right here, okay? And let's see here. Let me make sure, right? So we're always analyzing. So there's a, let me show you the other channels. I have 3 channels that I'm running presently right now. The other one is the one that I use primarily to shoot out the content that's related to what we're doing right now, and that has my name on it. Ola Toksabitogun. So this channel right here has 3,477, right? It's much older, but the nature of this channel is, it's just business, right? It's only for people. It's not for entertainment purposes. We do our best to present, but people come and go. That's just the nature of this channel. And we also advertise it. We pay money to Google Ads to advertise the content on here. So if I go under analytics as in analyzing, right? Remember what we just said here, ABA. Always be analyzing, right? So so we use the analytics to do that. This analytics page right here under the studio page of YouTube. Once you create your YouTube account, you will have a studio, and you can simply go in the studio and start creating videos, and you can see numbers on how they're performing, right? So we can see here that this video has 218 views in the last 48 hours. This is because we are advertising. So this channel is actually not designed to go viral by way of what I shared with you earlier, which is suggested videos. And it's not like I didn't try. I'm just being honest with you. The content is just for advertising the coaching businesses and stuff. Okay, so you can see here we started advertising even a little bit more recently the book, right? This is the introduction and right there, right? So if you look at this analytics we have under here, we have a view. We can see content and see how content is performing. You can see a little ups and down. Views, how many impressions created, the views. Then you can also see the audience, like what kind of audience are coming here, where are they coming from, right? And you can see more details about the audience. I'll show you another one that has more details in a second. And then if you want to do more research for additional topics, they have a section here that you can use for that as well. But let's go take a look at my third channel. Okay, let's take a look at the third channel and show you what that looks like. It's called Ola and Ola. Is a channel where my wife and I, we just share our insights on marriage, right? And this is our, I guess, the second biggest channel. Again, they are very, very young. Okay, and this channel is about it's not that, I mean, it's young, but it does what it does. It's about this channel is about 3 to 4 years old or so, right? 1,490. Could it do better? Yes, it could do better. In fact, like recently in the past few weeks, we haven't put content up on this because I'm on the road. So remember this part. Always be creating. If you're not creating, the algorithms, which is the formula that creates exposure for the videos, they won't work in its favor. But anyway, you can see here that let me dismiss this. This is messages. All these messages. All right. So if I refresh this, I have a few other tools that I use to track and see how we're performing. There's this one tool here called vidIQ. It tells me basically how we're doing, right? All right. So anyway, you can look here and see. Let's see. Okay, if you go under analytics here, we can see how the videos are performing. We can see videos that continue to perform long after we've created them. They continue to bring in audience, customers, right? Clients and partners and things like that, right? You can see in the last 28 days, we've on this one video alone has 952 views. It's not a big deal, but potentially it can become a big deal. We keep working at it because it has it's compounding. The whole idea of always be creating, it has a compounding effect. You just want to keep working at it. Eventually, it might go viral. It might take off. It might slow down. It might. If I go back a little bit more than 28 days here, you probably will see some spikes. You see some spikes here. It looks like everything. Then it crashed, and then it continues to balance out at about 75 views per day, right? Just like, yep, about that, around that, between 75 and 100 per day, right? So we can see the action here. I mean, you see that even YouTube is sending a little bit of money in, right? It's not a lot on the front end, but we do make a decent amount of money on the back end from coaching clients, from people that buy the books or buy courses and stuff like that, right? So that's monetization. That's a topic for another day. Okay. All right. So that's analytics right there for you. Now, if I go back to my biggest channel right now, it's actually the youngest. It's only 1 year old, but somehow we've managed to, our activities is bringing in some audience, and went a little viral over the past 3 months, and then settled back to a baseline. We call it the baseline. So what is the baseline on this graph? The baseline here is around 75, right? Even though once upon a time it spiked up to about 191, but it kind of tends to, over the past 3 months, it tends to settle in at around 75, right? So we're always continuing to creating, and there are multiple variables that makes it perform or not, right? Like I said earlier, also the platform is measuring your content against other people's content. Now, you don't want to get too obsessed with that. Stay focused. Don't depend on YouTube to monetize. Find other ways to monetize. Have a product that you sell on the back end, because that's where most of your money is going to come from. So as far as I'm concerned right now, if I see 215 people watch videos on this channel and we haven't created content since, let's see, we haven't created content since October 8th. That's a while back. That's over a month ago. Well, that means it continues to work, and we just have to come back again and show up and continue to build it, right? So if I go to my youngest and the highest performing, let's see, go back here, highest performing among the three, let's go back here. It's called Man of Prestige, right? I'm able to share this with you. As you can see, I've started many channels over time for different reasons. Some of them has 10, 14 subscribers. The name of the actual business has 98, because we haven't put content on there. Let me see how long last time we put content up there. In a while. Like if I go here, we put one little short on September 22. August, we put a little short here, but before that it was like a whole year. So last time we put anything on there, and it was unlisted. The last time we put anything public here, I don't think we've put anything public ever here. I think everything here is private. So it's just people subscribing from watching stuff from the back channel. Let's see. Come on. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to Man of Prestige, because that's the one that tends to have an upward trend and is performing right now. It's basically a platform where I go there to talk about relationships, and we do a lot of live streams, right? So this channel has 1,374 subscribers right now. About 71 of them came in the last 28 days, which is good, right? If we go under analytics, what happened? Let's go back 90 days, right? You see the spike over here. What happened? From my work, I was somebody that I'd been watching on the sidelines, who also happened to be acquaintance, decided to bring me on their platform, and then we delivered a good session, some good content, and then there was a spike, and then it came down to some kind of a higher baseline. Okay, so then we started to get, so from about averaging 43, I guess 103 in any given day. Let me go back, maybe actually a little bit more longer. If you go back to 365 days, there's a spike here around September 2, about 3,866 in a day, and then you can see it crashed all the way down, right? Okay, so these are the things I said I was performing against. Now I can't use the spike because that's an anomaly, right? But if I go back just only 90 days, this is an anomaly. I can look at what's going on here and say, okay, maybe we can work with something here. The baseline around here is looking like around, I don't know, about 150, 200, whatever, right? What I notice about this channel is that every time I do a live stream that tends to have a little bit of a toxic title to it, it performs even more. Why? Because humans are humans. What get them to click is really all that matters. Because if they're not clicking on an average, you can't give them food or medicine, right? So it's a little bit of a balance that we have to kind of monitor over time. Okay, so that's that really quickly. Just wanted to share that with you. Let's go back here. Let's see if we're doing well. So always be analyzing, right? So always be optimizing is the next line of thought here that I want you to pay attention to. Always be optimizing. So when I say optimizing, I mentioned it earlier. You want to be measuring against yourself. I don't want to measure against other people because it's not sustainable competition, right? Because you don't know what they're putting into their videos. You don't know if it's a persona. You don't know if they're buying clicks or if they're buying. You don't want to be doing anything like that can get your platform shut down. So you always measure against yourself. So what is myself in this case, right? If I go back again, I'm going to look at last 28 days. That's really all I should be looking at, okay? Last 28 days, it looks like we had a spike at 500 here, 552. What happened? Let's look at what the videos, right? I've done a few live streams, quite a few, 393. Is it 390? No, that's just 393. What metrics is this? I don't know what that metric is. It's not number of videos. I'm not sure if it's number of videos because it says average view count in first 7 days. Okay, that's what that is, right? So it definitely, this channel is definitely better live streaming, right? But we cut those live streams into extra pieces and we upload them for additional. But anyway, so if you look here, you can see some of the videos that are performing. So I want to measure against myself. This is my best video so far, and this was about something toxic. Okay, so do I want to keep doing that? Personally, I don't. I don't really enjoy. I enjoy doing this stream, but it's like I'd rather do something a little bit more balanced, not too dormant, but also not too actively, aggressively toxic. Right? There's another one here in the last 28 days. It's basically reviewing a particular pastor. Then also this one is a scam artist reviewing him. Okay. This has also done pretty well in the last 28 days. Then we also talked about the princess, Meghan Markle. We talk about a royalty in Nigeria. Okay, so I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm seeing a theme here. When I review some of these are all seem like they're celebrities of sort. I have a celebrity's face here, but it was about people that were not exactly celebrities. These are, again, I'm measuring myself against myself. I'm looking at what has performed as against, if you look at the bottom here, some things have not performed just as much, right? The idea is to do more of what's performing, right? And as you continue to do more, as you continue to create, you will have stuff to analyze and then you have stuff to optimize, okay? So what do I mean by optimizing? Optimizing simply means you do more of what's winning, do more winnings, and kill the losers. Okay, that's optimizing right there. Okay, you always want to be doing that. Okay, all right. So now, what is it that we're talking about? It's performing with engagement and click through rates. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit deeper into engagement and click through rates. If I go here and I go under analytics, I can click advanced mode here. You have this for free on any YouTube platform. It's a great way to get started, right? When I click on it, I'll see some of the highest performing videos, right? So I can see that this is basically sorted. This arrow tells me it's sorted based off of this column. It's sorted on this column, which is the views, right? But I can also sort on other columns like the watch time, which is a big deal for YouTube. The watch time is this total number of hours that was watched on that video. So if you look at all the people that watched and then find a way to multiply every single seconds, minutes, and hours that they actually watch, you had them all together, is the hours. Is the only indicator of how long they spent on YouTube. The views does not tell you how long they spent on YouTube. It just told you how many times a view was initiated on videos on YouTube. Okay. And then of course we have which one is generating the most subscribers, the toxic one, of course. Right. But let's sort it, right? When I sort it by subscribers in the last 28 days, I'm seeing that 5 lessons Eula Doce can learn from the Olive actually got more subscribers. People love this analysis, even though it had less views, right? It had more subscribers. Something about that video caught it. So there's multiple variables here that you get to see when you're analyzing. Again, I'm just looking at a few numbers and I'm trying to see which one is getting us the most action. What is the action that I care about the most? On YouTube, what you really want to care about the most is watch time. Okay, it tells you how long people were engaged with your face, your voice, your text, whatever it is that they're consuming on there. This has 249 hours was watched on this, right? All right, so but before we talk about this is the video engagement right now. This is the watch time, right? There's other ways of measuring how long people or how much people engage with your video. If I click this plus, I can see average view duration. It can be added to the column as well. And right here, I can see which videos, how long people were spending on each video on an average, right? But there's another one called the average percentage viewed. Okay. Listen, you can literally Google all of this, right? But I'm trying to explain to you the mindset behind why these numbers are presented for you. It's not designed for you to measure against all of this. It's designed for you to look at what's performing the most, because the first thing you're looking at is that you're always creating, right? So now we need to know, you need to continue to monitor which of your videos in the last 28 days, 7 days, depending on what industry you're in, right? Typically 28 days is perfectly fine, and see what performed and say, okay, this type of videos performed, I need to do more of it, right? So in terms of me right now, I'm just going to look at average watch time. This video performed. This is about reviewing a pastor and his talking points. I'm being honest with you, I'm not that comfortable reviewing pastors because I'm critiquing spiritual issues, which is, for me, it's like neither here nor there. I'm kind of indifferent about that. Okay, so I don't but I did this particular one because there was an event around accident, and there was a point I was making across to, but it engaged. Okay, but the next one available here is divorce from Nigeria to the abroad, and this actually has good watch time. People actually watched this, but it only generated 1 subscriber. Well, at some point, sometimes I don't really care about subscribers. Okay, it really doesn't matter, depending on what we're talking about, right? So you can look at it like that, and you can look at the top 5 and say, you know what, I'm gonna do more of this too. Like, this is another one that has, this is another story: modern, single, dating, and identity. Okay, it's another one that has high engagement, right? So I might want to even go back and review these videos and see why they're performing, right? So another one is about separation and marriage, right? Again, analyzing and trying to optimize, right? But watch time will get you everything else you're looking for. There's that 1 or 2 different metrics that if you focus on it and improving on it, you will get more of. So for example, I could just look at this last 5 and say, you know what, for the next 5 weeks, I'm going to find more similar stories to this top 5 based off of watch time top 5 and do more of it. And then by the time we come back to another 2 weeks, we'll have some new data to analyze. Okay. Now, before people can actually watch your video, they need to actually see a thumbnail to click on it. So I want to click on this impression click-through rate. It tells you which thumbnail is performing the most. What is thumbnail? When I hover on this, you see this thing that they're looking at? That's our graphic. It gets them to click on it. Should I block my X? Clearly, should I block my X is getting people to click. Okay. But it doesn't always translate to more performance across board, right? It doesn't always, but I can probably look at that and say, okay, maybe I should do another video version of should I block my X? That's not a bad idea. I just came up with an idea right there. I could do a whole live stream on should I block my X, right? Because clearly it's getting people to click on it. The graphic behind this is actually boring by itself, right? But I could do a live stream on it because the channel actually performs better with live stream. So we can see here that it's getting people to click. Particularly, we're looking at how often people are clicking, 30%. But I'm looking at only 10 times it's been shown and people click on it 3 times. So maybe it's not significant enough numbers to even make a judgment on. Let's look at impressions that has maybe 3 digits, right? Okay, this has 3 digits, 554. And it has 10.5. So know yourself before dating. This is actually more of a recent video, and it got 10%. So the baseline that I'm looking at right now is probably this 10%. Okay. but actually the real baseline is anything that's bigger than the average of everything in the last 28 days, which is 4.5%. That means they did well. That means anything above that, anything below that, I need to stay away from doing it. Well, everything on this list has more than 4.5%. So it's kind of hard to use that as baseline. So I'm going to move up a little bit. I like this idea of 10%. So if I hover my mouse on this, I can see that this is doing well. So with that being said, the last thing I want to share with you here before I share the homework with you is always be testing. All right, always be testing. All right, so we have a tool here that I use. Okay, and you can simply go to it's called TubeBuddy. Okay, you can go to myempirepro.com/TubeBuddy. Okay, it's called TubeBuddy. Okay, and I'm going to show you what it does. What it does allow me to test different thumbnails. Okay, and I can see which one is performing the most. So if you're going to create videos on YouTube, you want to be able to, so not only do they allow you to test different thumbnails, they actually have tools to help you create thumbnails. So for example, I'm going to go under content, and you can see all those different videos, right? This right here is not really what I uploaded. It's that TubeBuddy, which is installed on the app itself. This thing right here is actually testing two different thumbnails, which is this image that people see first. It's testing them against each other. Okay, that's what it's doing. So for every live stream I do, every video, I'm always testing testing the thumbnails one against the other. And what does that look like? Let me show you what that looks like in the back end, because I test them consistently and I let the one that wins, I test two against each other. Whichever one that wins is automatically set for life. Then I keep testing, and then eventually I can go back to here. Let's go back to my account, TubeBuddy dashboard. It takes me into here. Okay, and let's see. When I go here, if I go into Men of Prestige, this one right here, I can go under split test, which is this little circle. Okay, always be testing. So not only do you test click-through rates, you can also test one type of video against another. One could be just slides, the other could be your face, a talking head, right? It could be also a mixture. Okay, this is stuff that over time we will cover more of in the inner circle. Okay, all right. So if you look here, there are some that I'm testing against each other and they're in progress, but I have some completed. I'm going to click completed on the top right here. Okay, and you can see these ones I've completed, and you can see significantly how one thumbnail performed more than the other. Okay, it's loading. This particular thumbnail has this guy sitting in a jet, in a private jet. This thumbnail performance almost doubled the second one with just him doing his hands like this in front of some cars. I would never know this unless I've tested it. So after he tested it and he ran through the test, he said the original CTR, click-through rate, was 91.2 higher than the variation. So what does it do? It automatically, TubeBuddy will automatically set this to be the, look at this one too. This one says original CTR beats it by 48%. On your face, when you look at it, it looks like slightly different, like it's only 2%, but 2% of $1 million, what is that? 2% of 1 million impressions, what is that? Like that's how much more views you can get when when you're seeing these numbers, right? What about this one here? This one almost quadruple the other one, even though they're both kind of low. This was about Kanye West, but it says almost quadruple. What does it say? 104% higher than the variation, right? It's about masquerades, right? And what about this one? Well, it looks like we stopped and we set this one as a variation. I don't know why we stopped. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But we're always testing this one by 26%. Slightly on when you look at it, but it's when it comes down to the numbers, it's significantly different. So you always want to be testing, okay? Always want to be testing. You test the thumbnail, but you also test what type of videos are performing for you, okay? So there's one of the channels here that, when we script things out and we write them out and not do a lot of hums, they tend to perform more. Depends on what the audience of that particular platform wants. And you need to find out what that is and then use it. Look at this one, 9% more, just because of I use myself as a video as on the picture here, and I use myself and my wife on the second one. But over time I've noticed that using myself on this particular channel works better, so we've been using just myself, right? So we've tested different things like that over time, and YouTube Buddy makes it super simple because all I have to do when I create let me see, all I have to do, let me just see something here. All I have to do when I create a new video, once it's installed on your browser, you will see all these red icons across the board on your YouTube. What I do is I click this little arrow, I click A/B split test, and then it opens TubeBuddy. Then I will select, for this, I won't do 14 days. I want it to run it until it gets a statistically significant different winner, right? And I'll select that, then I'll go continue. Then I'll select the variation, which is another thumbnail, right? So I don't know, I do thumbnails all the time. For example, today I was just testing this on our platform. So you're gonna see some of these videos. Make sure you're watching them, right? This is one right here. Let's see, it's one right here, one right here. There's another one here. I'm testing this one against the same guy, against this one. I'll see over time, we'll see which one is performing the better, right? And then we keep the one that's doing the best. All right. So that's that right there. Here's your homework. Here's your homework. Okay. Well, first of all, set up your YouTube channel. Okay. Set up a YouTube channel. If so depending on what you're trying to create, depending on, I want you to start running some tests and stuff like that. Then set up YouTube, set up TubeBuddy, okay? Set up TubeBuddy, set up TubeBuddy on your browser, okay? Just follow the instructions, okay? It's pretty straightforward. It's www.myempirepro.com/TubeBuddy, okay? Follow the instruction. They have also an academy that you can attend to get to know more for video marketing in general. Then also, I want you to come up with 100 gurus, influencer in your particular industry. What I want you to do is I want you to create videos reacting to a short 30 seconds. Okay, do your first 3, but I want you to go for 100. I'm actually doing it right now on our platform, right? But do your first 3 and share it with me, right? React to a 30 seconds comment. Okay, what should you be doing with them? Edify, okay, not disagreeing, edifying, add context, okay, add context, okay, expatiate on what you learned, right? But ultimately, whatever you're doing, try to not, you can disagree, there's nothing wrong with disagree, but do it respectfully. You can disagree respectfully, so I just, I've disagreed before, and people, even though I didn't mean disrespect, it tends to attract negative energy. If you're not that type of person, it's not even necessary, because regardless, it's going to take consistency over time. And then upload the video, okay? React and upload the video. How do you merge their comment with your reaction? Well, you could actually quote them and then say your point. You can also merge videos together. You don't know how to merge videos? Just go to YouTube and say, how do you merge videos? Start like that. Start engaging your brain in that way, right? And then once you're done with the final product, you upload the video to your brand new YouTube channel, and then send me the links to 3 of them. Okay, the first 3, because you're going to be going for 100 gurus and influencer. What does mine look like? Hold on one second. Let me show you what mine looks like. Let me show you what mine look like. Let's go to here. All right, so here are all the gurus I'm reacting to right now. I actually did some research, seeing how many people are searching for them, how difficult is it to go after them for paid marketing, for SEO, and we're only 2 in, okay? And what does that look like? Let me show you what that looks like, okay? Just as an example of, I'll give you an idea of what I'm doing here. Well, all their audience, I'm going to potentially attract their audience to my platform. That's the idea. But I'm doing it respectfully. I'm profiling them and edifying them. Okay, so not in a way that's going to be disrespectful to them, and then they start to feel funny. So let me go here into YouTube. I'm actually going to search my name on YouTube. All right, comes right up, and this is the video. Okay, we just started right after we launched the book. We just started doing this. So this is the first one. What does it have? 13 views. Isn't that discouraging? Well, yeah, you can say that. It's discouraging, right? But again, all you need is one solid client to take you. You need to meet one person that will take you to that next level, right? And I've seen that happen over and over in the last 12 years. So I don't even pay too much attention to, it depends on what platform, on what type of, if I'm doing just commentary on trending news and stuff like that, I expect to be more views. If I'm teaching, like strict, like for example, this textbook and the book version of the videos, it is what it is. It's not that much that you're going to see happening there, right? So, and you know, also we've seen videos that became popular. We have this one video. What type of video is the most popular on this platform? I was basically engaged with another bigger guru, right? In this time, I actually got to interview him personally. Ivan Komaiko, he has like what, 3 million subscribers now. So he has to, so for obvious reasons. So a lot of clients have been attracted to this one video. All you need is one video to go viral, and then another one person to really find value in what you're up to. We have some other videos here as well around marketing and stuff like that that I've done pretty well. Okay, so we just have to stay consistent, right? You know, and then we'll take it from there. All right. So hopefully, let me see. Let me just make sure that we've covered base here. We went a little bit over an hour, but you have more than enough to do now. Then we'll take it from there. Let's see. Let's go back here. All right. So you get the homework right there. Feel free to pause the video, rewind, and then, you know, write them down. And let me see you going. Let me see you going with that. Okay. Let's get you going. All right. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next class, which is all about email marketing. Email marketing is key to life of this business. It's going to be hard to survive without email marketing, especially as we move into the future. So make sure you're here for that. I'll see you on the next class. Peace.